the tomatoes ready here. The garden looks so nice. Oh, we got one right here. Look at this. Chocolate tomato. Oh my God. Oh, that's a tomato. Nothing compares to you can buy in the store like that. Oh my God. That is so sweet.
Hi friends, I'm Sherry and this is Gardening in the North, and today I have a special guest. This is my dad John, also known as Poppy to all the grandkids, and I have enlisted his help. So I have this vision of going out into my backyard with baskets and filling them with fruit from my fruit trees. But the reality is that those fruit trees often fall to the bottom of my gardening priority list. And even then, I usually don't get to them. So they really don't get a lot of TLC. So I have asked my dad, who has a vast amount of experience with fruit trees, to come help me out, take a look at them. Do I need to prune them, open them, whatever else needs to be done to them? However, before we do that, we are going to take a look at his garden. His garden space, his fruit trees, his grapes, everything. So let's get going.
So this here is a Macintosh apple. It's I usually prune it, but I'm going to wait till the fall now to prune it because the fruit's on it, the apples are on it. If you can see here, the apples are in here. It's hard to see them all because it's all the same color. But they're all through here. There's some up top there. There's some way up top. If you look up top there, right up in there. So I'm not going to prune this until the fall.
And how old is this tree?
This tree's probably close to 7 years.
And so, Dad, you are 5'10". And so if I just back up here, like it's double your height.
Yeah.
And so how old is it again?
It's about 7 years.
7 years.
I'm probably going to take the top and cut it down, clean out the center of it.
Yep.
And dead. I'll take that out too, but I won't do it till the fall now. And this here is a spy apple. This is not as old, and I have not got fruit on it yet, but what I've done this year to change it up, I've done a graft. So if you bring the camera close, I will show you where the graft is. You look at the tape here, that's a graft.
And what did you graft onto?
I graft a Macintosh to this, just to see how it would turn out. And there's one beside it that didn't take. So they all don't take. Some take, some don't. This one took very well. Probably next year I'll take the tape off, and that will be one whole vine again.
So both of those grafts were Macintosh that you did? Okay.
And one took and one didn't.
That's awesome.
But that's about 50%, and that's about what you get.
Yeah.
And then I put all these trees in here because we have our dog, and I like to give him some shade and some privacy from the neighbors.
Yeah.
He
So
really likes it.
Hi, Springer.
And he's going on 11, so he's an old guy.
Yeah.
He's an old boy.
So the grafts, if it works,
Yeah.
then you're going to have two different kinds of apples.
I'll have a spy apple and a Macintosh apple.
And what is a spy apple? I've never heard of that.
It's like a Macintosh. It's a cooking apple.
Okay.
It's for cooking, but for me, I actually like eating them. They're sour, but I like a lot of sour apples.
Yes, and sour grapes.
And sour
Not grapes, sour cherries, I mean.
I like all that. And then sour, I actually really like. So then in here we have raspberries, red currants.
Oh, they're going strong.
Red currants all in here.
Now, do you eat those?
Yes, we do. We just grab a handful like this. Take them off. And
Pop them in. And what do they taste like?
they're sweet. Very sweet. This is rhubarb down here.
Yeah.
I've already picked it. Now it's going again. But this year, if you have raspberries, you want big ones.
Yes.
You have to have two different kinds, more than one flavor of raspberry. So these ones I just planted this year, and they're orange.
Okay.
They're an orange raspberry.
Oh.
I have 2 different kinds here, but I want to switch it up to make 3.
I can see the different kinds right there.
And that's when you get a bigger raspberry. If you only have the same kind,
Yeah.
you get small raspberries.
So that's one there, and
Yes.
I believe the one right next to it
Is
different.
Is a different raspberry.
Yeah, different
Totally,
sizes.
Yeah, different size, but they will change, and you will end up with big raspberries instead of all little tiny ones.
So that's what we have at our house. As we go around the pool fence, we have the big ones, and then
Yeah.
we have the little ones, and the
Yeah.
little ones are so tedious to
They're
pick.
tedious to pick.
So I usually direct the dogs to those ones,
Yeah.
because they know how to take
And
them.
the dogs love them.
Yeah,
But my grandkids come, and the little ones are fine for them.
yeah.
They still like them.
So when they come
Tearing down here.
next week,
Yeah.
get them to go out with a bowl and pick them all for you.
That's what they do. Just pick the raspberries. They're all good.
Oh yeah, they taste sweet.
Some are bigger. They're starting to get bigger, but it takes time. And there's 2 different kinds in here too. But it takes time for them to grow and get bigger.
Yeah.
This plant here is a hash cap, which that's the earliest berry that starts in the spring. It's a hash cap. After that, your raspberries start, your strawberries,
Yeah.
your blueberries. They all come after hash caps.
And the hash caps look like a flat blueberry.
Yes, it's like a rectangle,
Yeah.
but they're very sweet. Unless you pick them too early, then they're bitter, which I pick them early.
Right, and I can't show you them because you've already picked
I've
them and
already
eaten
picked
them.
That's right. They're already picked.
And
Because
eaten.
they came early spring. This is my wife's garden in
Okay.
here. Well, what I done is she didn't know when I did it. I snuck 2 hash caps on this side. So the flowers are on there, and the hash caps are back here.
So when Mom's on the deck and she's looking out and she sees her cute little garden.
She don't know the hash caps are there. So I snuck them in. Yeah. And then I planted all these trees here too, all those birches. When I planted them, they're only 6 inches tall. I planted all those birches. They're beautiful now. And then we're going to start down here where all the apple trees and fruit trees and peach trees, pear trees.
So I'm just going to stand over here. I want to give a really good view of what you've done. So you have basically 3 rows, 3 like food forest strips,
Yes.
because each strip is packed with
Yes.
food.
This is like a food forest.
Yes, a food forest with awesome walking trails between it. It's all nice and tidy. Everything is, compact on the rows. I really like it.
It's easy to maintain because of the way I got it.
Yes.
It's not like all jummed in.
Yeah, and
It's all
I think it's going to look beautiful even more so once the trees grow bigger.
yes.
And then it'll almost be like a canopy walking down the
Exactly.
center.
Exactly what look I actually want.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm going to take you over to a little tree to start off with.
Yeah.
This tree here, my neighbor had it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the very back of his property, and it was only this big. And it had no leaves on it. He asked me, he says, "Do you want it?" I said, "Sure." So I got this a year and a half ago, and look at it now.
It's thriving.
Taken off. And there was fruit on it, but because it struggled so early, I think the fruit fell off.
Yeah.
But next year, this tree will be good. It will have apples. This is a Macintosh apple.
Mm.
So next year, she will bear apples, but she struggled for the first year and a half when I had it. I had to keep watering it, give it fertilizer, and now it's starting to flourish. It will be a good apple tree. So then we come to this one. This is another, I like Macintosh. Macintosh is a sour apple. This is another Macintosh. I really like them.
And how old is this one?
This one here is probably 3 years. This is 3 years.
I have a tree, I think it's Gala, And we've moved it 3 times now, and it's probably,
That's hard on the tree.
oh,
Very hard.
I think once you come to the property, you'll see, I think half of it has survived the move to the new place.
We'll have to cut it.
Yeah.
And then find a piece that's good and make that a central leader. And we'll use that as a central leader.
Yeah.
To fix it up. But this peach tree, because we're here, I'm going to talk about this peach tree. This was from seed. This is a seed.
That you did yourself.
When it grew, I cut the center out right here, knee high, about knee high.
Yeah.
I opened it up in here.
And so why do you do that?
Because the peach tree is not a central leader. It's more like an umbrella.
Yeah.
It's upside the umbrella, and the sun can get in, and the fruit will get lots of sun, and it turns it.
Ripens. Ripens the fruit.
Ripens better.
Yeah.
If it's just like this here, and it gets too many, because a peach tree will get a lot of leaves, and it grows fast.
Right.
So I keep it trimmed and keep the center open. There's still more work to be done to this, but it's only 2 years.
Wow.
It's only 2 years old.
So wait till you see my peach trees. Yeah. They need a lot of pruning.
I've seen some of them. but this also here is a raspberry patch. Raspberries.
Yep.
Which like I say, my grandkids love them. And down in here beside the peach tree, that's a different kind of raspberry, which they're bigger. You always have to have more than one kind of raspberry, or you get small raspberries.
Yeah.
Same as back in here, under the peach tree.
Yeah, I love it.
Right in here. I come out here, I'm in my garden, and I pick things all day long. Then when I go in to have dinner, I'm not hungry. More raspberries. I put the raspberries under all of them. And actually, the trees like it.
Yeah.
Actually, the trees flourish.
And a comfrey plant.
Yeah, and we got comfrey there. And we got comfrey in between all these.
Yeah.
There's comfrey between all of them. I've actually cut a lot of it down, and now it's going back up. But I put comfrey everywhere.
So the comfrey that you have is Bocking 14, and what that means is that it has a tap root that drills down to get all the nutrients.
Like you
and
don't see it, but it's in here too.
Yeah, I can see the flowers.
Yeah.
And then all the nutrients are put into the leaves. You can then do a chop and drop, throw it down on your garden. You can feed it to your chickens, and it is non-evasive.
Yes.
So I was on a Facebook group site.
It stays in one spot.
Yes.
It's beautiful. And it's a nice looking plant, really.
It's very pretty.
And it draws bees to your whole garden.
Yeah, it's good for the pollinators. So I was on this Facebook site, and somebody was talking about, when their comfrey plant grows, they chop it down before the flowers come because the flowers produce seed. And so I left a comment to say, that's a very invasive comfrey plant. You should try getting the Bocking 14 because it only spreads when you spread it by spreading the roots.
Yes, when you dig it up and cut a root and put it somewhere.
Yeah.
And usually when the flowers die, like these are dead now, I'll just pull it off.
Yep.
It doesn't hurt nothing. Pull it, and I'll drop it wherever. If I drop it in here, and it feeds the plants.
Yeah.
I used to have cutters. I carry cutters in my back pocket all the time, and I just cut. Throw it here, throw it there.
Yeah.
And
the
plants love it.
It's a good fertilizer.
Yeah, it's a great fertilizer. And this here is, I have a lot of pear trees. I really like pears. This is another pear tree here. And there's pears on it.
Where are the pears?
Well, I'm not sure because I have a lot of squirrels, and they come and take a lot.
Oh, I see one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They're all the same color, and it's hard to see them. Oh yeah, here, if you come here. Right here.
Oh yeah.
But the squirrels, a lot of squirrels get them too.
It's hard sometimes when you see them because when they first start,
And
they blend right in.
There's another graft.
Okay.
It did not take.
And how do you know it didn't take?
Well, because it hasn't done nothing. See?
Okay, it hasn't started any new growth.
Yeah, it should have started a long time ago.
Okay.
So it didn't take. And this is a plum tree. This is only 2 years. This is a pretty good sized plum tree when I got it. And the first year I got it, it had lots of plums, but it hasn't plummed this year.
Holy, it's like at least double you.
Yeah, and what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to prune her down, and the tree will like that, and it probably will fruit next year. So we're going to do that in the fall. I won't do it now. I have to wait for a warm day.
Yeah.
Because plum trees and cherry trees, it has to be hot. If it's any kind of moisture, wet, or anything like that, disease gets in, and it will kill your tree. So you want to be able to do it when it's warm and dry.
Right.
Cut it and it has time to heal before it gets moist. You want it to heal back up. It's like this cherry tree here. This is only 2 years. I got this same time I got that. And this did struggle a bit, but it's coming back.
Now, is this sweet or sour?
This is sweet. This is sweet. But the one beside it is a cherry bush. It is sour.
Right.
This is sour.
And now you need 2 different kinds of cherry trees
for pollinate.
Right.
And I have quite a few cherry bushes, which will pollinate with this one anyway.
Right. And I only have one at home, the sweet. So I need a cutting of your sour.
Which would not be a problem.
Right.
I have all kinds. I can dig one up for you. There's not a problem, because these are very invasive. These are they plant and then suckers come up, all kinds of suckers.
Okay, so we'll have to make sure that I put it in a place that I'm not going to care.
Because you're constantly cut and drop because you want to control it.
Right.
So it's very invasive plant.
Okay.
Now this one's not, because it's a tree, but that's a bush.
Right.
Totally different.
Okay.
But I will take you over, because the birds got all the cherries on this one.
Yeah.
Which.
Oh, and I see that you've tried to graft something on here too.
I grafted from this tree a sweet cherry to this, but it did not take.
Oh.
But I'm going to show you some grafts that did take.
Yeah.
I probably grafted 10 and probably 5 took.
Okay, so 50%.
50%.
Yeah.
And that's about what you get.
Yeah.
50%. So, yeah, that's a sour cherry. And then over here are my grapes.
And I love this.
And I had my son come, because I'm a little bit older now, and it's hard to dig these poles. So my son dug these poles down and helped cement them in. And then I undone the rest. I put this on because the grapes are getting big now, and the birds like them as much as me. So I'm trying to protect some of the grapes, but I'd be able to get some. So I'm going to show you here.
Yes. I just saw him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's a thing about grapes a lot of people don't realize. When they first start off, you have a bunch, and they're just tiny, but they're that big.
Yeah.
I go by and I cut half off. Why I cut half off is because then you have a bigger grape.
Right.
Even though you're losing, say, 30%, if you leave them, you're going to have grapes this size. You cut them, you're going to have grapes this size.
Right.
So you're far better off to cut a little bit off and have a bigger grape. So I go through this whole thing and do that. It's hard to see, but if you look in here, there's grapes everywhere. And they've all been cut. I've uncut them all.
They look awesome, Dad.
Yeah. And there's all kinds. Back in here too. They're back in here. It's hard to look at them, but they're all in through here. And in here, look at it in here. I can't pull it up. I got it tied. But
I can see down below
Can you?
though. There's more down here.
And like you take a branch like that, and I would cut half that off.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very similar to pruning tomato plants, right? Like if you don't prune your tomato plants, you're going to get tons of fruit, but they're smaller. If you prune them, you're going to get bigger
I'd rather
fruit.
have less but bigger.
Right.
So these here are grapes too. I planted them all at the same time, but I put these baskets because the rabbits kept eating them. They chewed them right down to the stalk.
After all your work too.
So that's why this is just starting to take off now.
Right.
So once it reaches this height,
Yeah.
what I do is that, if you can see, I cut the top. So that promotes growth from here. And this growth here will split into two. And then one will go this way One will go that way.
Okay.
And the same as this down here. I take these things out because I don't want them to grow. So I want this to grow longer, and it'll run along this line here.
So you're basically pulling out, if I refer to tomatoes again, you're pulling out the suckers.
The suckers.
Okay.
And it puts more of the plant's energy into these here branches to grow them bigger, to run along the line.
Right.
Like the lines like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll go so far, then I will cut it off and leave it, same as that. This one I will let go further. I have to cut this one here.
Yeah.
It's time to cut. And then it'll open up the two going that way. And down here, I got the same thing happening here.
Yeah.
Here. And this one here, you take it off. Take it off.
I'm just going to stand back because I want to show how awesome your setup is. Once we get our property graded, I want the same setup for my grapes. So you have your posts at either end, then you have your T-posts with the wire. It's so neat and tidy, and that's the thing, it's easy to manage. Yeah, I really like it.
Another peach tree from seed, which I've done the same. I cut the center out.
Yeah.
You can see the center's cut out. It has to be pruned again, but I'm not going to prune it until the fall. I'm going to allow it to grow. And then I will cut all the inside branches off. Anything inside, I will cut off to open it up again. And then these branches here, the main branch, like this branch here, I got it tied down to pull it down.
Yeah.
It will thicken and get big. So the center will always be open.
I remember when you and Keith first started trying to grow your peach trees from the pits.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to take years. And life goes by so fast. Here you are with your tree. And had I started mine back then, mine would be as big as this.
Yeah, but the problem is with a peach tree from seed, you don't know what you're going to get.
What do you mean?
Because I have peach trees over there.
Yeah.
And they're nice peach trees. If I take a seed, it doesn't mean I'm going to get that peach tree.
Oh.
It could be a totally different peach tree. You may not even like it. So it's just an experiment. You may get one that you do like.
Right.
But more often enough, it's not one that you're really going to enjoy. So you're still better off to get a grafted peach, which I have a big property here, so I do lots of experiments.
So what do you mean by you won't enjoy it? Is
Well,
it the flavor?
Yeah, the flavor may be different. Or you may have a smaller peach.
Oh,
Or-
like a crab apple, but it's a peach tree.
So it may not be what you want.
Right.
But because I got a big property, it's still a pretty plant. I actually like it.
Yeah, it is
So,
pretty. I like it.
So
It's-
I am planted.
Yeah, it
And I have
adds.
lots of room here. I don't have to worry about room.
Yeah, it adds character to your food forest strips.
Exactly. And then this is another raspberry plant, but this is the one I moved up there, and this is a yellow or a yellow raspberry
I gave
or
you
an orange
this.
raspberry. It turns orange when it's ripe, and that's why I moved it up, because these little suckers come up here,
Yes.
and I move them around to mix in with some of the other ones. I pull some of the other ones out, and I put these ones in.
Yes. To mix them up so that
mix
you get
them
the
up.
big berries.
Yeah, big berries. And this here is a pear tree I got off my neighbor. He had it at the back, and it needed some loving care, and it wasn't being looked after, and it was practically dead.
Yeah.
So I've had this now probably a year and a half, and
Wow.
it loves it here, just loves it. Now it probably won't bear fruit until next year, but that's fine with me.
It's fine.
That's okay. It's doing well. It likes it in that spot.
Let's look at your compost area
Yes.
because I love it.
Yes. When I first put this in, I did not have these boards on it, and my wife hated looking at it. So I went out and got to Home Depot, bought some boards, put them in there. Now it just looks like it's a fence from our yard. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like a compost pile. But I actually cleaned it out this year. And that's the result of compost. These two piles came out of there.
So let's take a look because they are growing.
Yeah, and so I just threw some pumpkin seeds, some
Zucchini?
zucchini, and watermelon. The watermelon's not doing very well. I guess it needs more sun. It's sitting here, but it hasn't done much.
Yeah, it needs sun
It needs
and
more sun. And this big tree I love is probably shading it too much.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
but you know what? Watermelon is really hard for us to grow here in Canada. We just don't have, I mean, people do it, but you really have to give it like 100% TLC.
Yeah, it's really tough. Now, I do pumpkin seeds in here.
Oh, I see one.
Do you? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I got them off my daughter, and I threw them in here. It was just sitting here. I figured I'd just throw a bunch of pumpkin seeds. So there's one coming up. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know if any of them would come up. Seeds are they looked a bit dry.
Your squash plants right there look so healthy.
Yeah.
So they're getting the perfect amount of everything that they need. Because I'll tell you,
It just loves it.
when you
If you look, there's a little fruit on the end
Yep.
there.
So when you come to my property, you'll see that where I have my garden is in complete
Another fruit here.
full sun. Yeah,
Okay, it's taken off.
I know.
Yeah.
Like the plant is so healthy, Dad.
Yeah. And it gets lots of water. I have a hose. I soak her down. But all that comfrey came from there. Just from cutting the grass. And another thing, I don't put fertilizer on my grass.
Right.
Because that's poison. So
Yeah.
if you put fertilizer, you can't put it in your compost because now you're putting it on your
Food.
food and now you're eating it.
Yeah.
So I have not fertilized since I come here. That's why my grass is a bit copper and not so green. But that's okay. You can eat grass. I'm not worrying about grass.
Yeah.
But I still keep it trimmed, keep it nice. Tree. It's a Macintosh. It's the oldest tree on this lot.
Okay.
When I first bought this house, my friend Tom Heron bought this for me as a gift.
So nice. It's like filled with
Yeah.
apples.
And I've pruned this so many times, and I try to keep a one central leader and
Yeah.
keep it open, so the sun can get into it.
It's so
This
healthy.
is a nice tree. This is the oldest tree on the lot besides this big guy here, which is a red oak.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
It
tree.
is a big tree, and it's beautiful. It gives lots of shade. You sit under that chair, and if it rains, it's not even getting wet. Now this is an interesting pear tree. This used to be 5 different kinds of pears.
You bought it like that.
I bought it like that. It was already grafted, 5 different, but I didn't like them.
Mm.
And it was hurting the tree, so I cut them all out and just made one.
And now
Made
look
one,
at it.
And it's loaded with pears. But last year the squirrels got every pear off it. They took every pear that was on it, they got every one. And when I got this, it was only this big. I cut the rest out, and sometimes it still tries to grow.
Yeah.
If you look down there, it tries to grow, but I keep cutting it. Won't allow it to grow. I just want the one now.
It's interesting because you'll say to yourself, oh, I'm going to come out and harvest those pears. And then something happens and
You run out of time.
then so a day later, 2 days later, you come out, gone.
Well, you see them on the ground half eaten.
Yeah, a bite here and a bite there.
Squirrels. And more concrete in between. Raspberries, strawberries here. I actually got off my neighbor. That's the first year for them right here. First year. So I don't expect to get any.
Yeah.
And there was a couple there, but I think squirrels got them. I got more strawberries over here, which are taken off very nice.
Yeah.
And more comfrey. And this is a peach tree, which this is probably 10 years old. And it struggles with peach curl. Peach leaf curl.
Only this one.
No, both.
Oh, both of these ones here.
So I pull leaves off and it flourished. The problem is now, I've had it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And you got to do a copper spray. And I've done the copper spray in the spring, but I got to do one in the fall.
Okay.
But the tree struggles and hasn't bear fruit now for 2 years because of it. And the peach leaf curl can actually kill your peach tree. So if I was recommending people to buy a fruit tree, it would not be a peach tree.
Because
To
they're
start off,
too high
you're
maintenance.
very high maintenance, and you really got to watch them.
Hmm.
And the same thing I done there, I cut the center out, if you can see.
Yeah. It's like an upside down umbrella.
But yeah, but I also done an experiment. I wanted to try one without cutting the center out, and actually, it was not bad. I eventually cut some of the center,
Yeah.
but I should have cut it down when I first. But I thought I was going to leave this one and just see how it turned out.
Yeah, this
But
one.
This one is a better tree.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one doesn't look as good. Like it
No.
doesn't look as strong
No,
compared to
I
the one
should have
next
cut it,
to it.
and I really didn't.
Yeah.
I just wanted to try it. As an experiment, I'm always doing stuff like that.
So what's going on here in these barrels?
Well, these barrels are, they're all potatoes. They're all
Wow.
potatoes. They struggle a bit, which I don't understand why, but it's hard to get water down here to begin with. I have to use 4 hoses to get it down. I am going to change that. I'm thinking about it this year. I'm going to run a line. This is my garden. I love this garden. Last year, the rabbits got everything. I mean they got everything. They got my beets, my snap peas, my bush beans, my peas. They got my lettuce. They got everything. Carrots. They ate everything. So I went out and spent money and got the fence put up.
Yeah.
I see the rabbits looking at it, but they can't get into it. But I also plant stuff on the outside for the rabbits.
Right.
On the other side of the garden. I got a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of everything. They can eat that. I don't allow them in here.
And so you got your asparagus ferns growing right in the middle of it all.
And that is because that used to be where my garden ended. But then I extended it, and the asparagus ended up in the middle.
So how did you used to extend it?
I just put cardboard down.
Yep.
From there to there. And I went and got dirt, like compost from back there, threw it on there, and then when it got wood chips, 2 wood chips on it. And that's the extent. Actually, my garden, when I first started, was only to here, to where the onions run. That was the start of my garden, my garden.
So if you look, here are the onions, and he has extended it over the past years, bigger and bigger.
This was my garlic patch, which I'll show you where I got them.
Yeah.
I pulled them all the other day. Well, I hung some here I just threw them there, but I'll show you where the rest are.
You should throw some bush beans in there.
Yeah, I really should. That would be nice.
Because
there's lots of time. You're right. But the
use up
problem
the
is the rabbits
space.
will get them.
Oh, right.
But if I plant enough of them, they won't get them all.
Yeah, because they help with nitrogen.
Yes.
And your
They're very
garlic has soaked up all that nitrogen. So you want to make that soil really good. So even if you just plant them to start growing, give them to the rabbits, it's going to make your soil better.
Exactly. And I have lots of beans anyway.
Yeah.
So these are my pepper plants.
So hold on, let's talk about what.
Onions.
Yeah. Are these onions that you planted?
I did plant them. They're from the package.
Okay.
They're not from seed.
So they're all going to flower now. Like they're all going to seed.
I'm actually going to keep the seeds.
Yes.
I'm going to plant seeds next year.
It's an awesome idea.
It's hard to buy the seeds. I used to get them off my daughter. She's had lots. So I'll have my own seed now. As soon as they turn black, that's the seed. You just shake them on a paper, and that's you get your seeds. So I'm leaving them like that.
Yeah.
We'll use those onions up first anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But this is what I'm talking about, the sour cherry. See here?
Yeah.
It just pops up. Very invasive. I actually could dig that one up for you. And then you can take it to the house. But I'm going to take you over to this sour cherry. This one here was that big one was over here.
Right.
And it covered too much of my garden. So I dug it all out.
Yeah.
So it struggles a bit, but it is coming back.
Yeah.
So these are the pepper plants. These are flowers in between. I always plant flowers.
Yeah, it's good for the bees.
Good for the bees. And way over in this corner, if you look, there's a rose bush.
I did see that.
Right over in the corner.
Beautiful red in the back.
Yeah. And that other stuff, what's it called? Purpley. You actually bought it for us.
Oh, lavender.
Lavender is over in the corner.
Yeah.
I put a big lavender plant in the corner. So
Yeah.
I'm always putting flowers down in there to draw the bees in.
And so let's go back here for a second. What do you have underneath the tarp here?
Oh, that's another experiment. These are cabbages. You can see. But see the holes in these? The bugs get them.
Yep.
So I got cabbage under there, and I put that on to see if it turns out better that way. And if it does, next year I would run a whole row of cabbage and use that. So I want to see how these cabbages turn out compared to those cabbages.
Right. To see if it's worth it.
See if it's worth putting that stuff on.
Yeah.
So that's been on since the start. And when I put it on, it was flat. And look at it, it's pushing up.
Yeah, so it's not stopping the growth
No,
of them.
it's not, and air gets through there, water gets through there, everything gets through there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it, but it really does. It's very thin, but it keeps the bugs out.
Right.
Bugs can't get in. If I pull that off, there'll be no holes in those ones.
Yeah.
Not like these. You look, there's holes. Like the cabbage is turning, but look at the holes. The bugs are eating it, totally eating it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get the odd one here, but those will all be good.
Your beets are doing awesome this year.
And last year I never got a beet.
Yeah.
The rabbits literally pulled the root right out of the ground.
And so I see next to them your sugar snap peas.
Which is...
You need to start picking them, Dad.
Oh, I've already pulled lots. I pull them every day. Every day I come out here and it's just unbelievable.
So good.
They are so good. Some I'm going to go to seed. But
The ones you can't, like, now you can walk there because your garlic's gone, but you could leave those ones in there.
But I came out here yesterday and I had a big bowl full.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here again. In the back are the climbing beans.
Okay. Pole beans.
Yeah. So that's why I have the fence here halfway to catch those beans there.
Yeah.
Which the rabbits ate them all. And then my bush beans are down there. They're getting the flowers on them now. So they're going to be packed with beans. Those are the beans that your mother likes.
Yeah, nice and thin ones.
Yeah. But they're sweet.
We almost passed over. We almost passed over the best part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then a lettuce. Did
Yeah.
you show the lettuce?
Yeah.
Look at the way that lettuce.
I know, it's crazy. And it's so bushy.
We pick it every day. Every day. And that was the new one. That one back there is the old one. I'm almost finished it. I come and just cut it. Bring it in the house.
And I can see that some of it's going to seed, so
Yeah.
you should save that seed too.
Yeah, exactly. Just cut it, bring it in. Then my mustard greens are all gone to seed.
Yeah.
And then
The kale,
the kale.
you put
Mom-
that in your salads too.
Well, yeah, I put little pieces. Mom don't really like the kale.
She needs to cut it up thinner.
Yeah, it's so thick, eh?
If she cuts it up like super thin and throws it in the salad, you won't even notice that it's a different
probably good
texture.
for drinks, like you drop it, freeze it, and put it into a drink. It's almost like a rubber.
That's what Derek does. He cuts it, he washes it, dries it, cuts it all up, and then uses it all winter long in
Yeah,
his
exactly.
smoothies.
I think it'd be great for smoothies. Right?
Yeah.
Which I can cut it all, put it in the fridge, and just throw it into a drink.
Yeah. We'll take a bag of it to
Now,
go.
these onions here, they're not gone to seed because I started them from seed.
Okay.
I started them from seed. So they're fresh. Like those ones are, I think, 2 years old.
I see what you're
The
saying.
package.
These are done with seed that you
Seed.
grew
I grew.
in your basement, in your grow
Yes.
room. But the ones that are over here that you're allowing to go to seed
Yeah. Were
are
packaged.
the onion sets.
Yes, onion sets.
So they look like little onions, and they're actually year 2 onions, which is why they're going to flower like this, and your other ones aren't.
Early, eh?
Right.
So there's no sense worrying about it. I'll just collect the seeds after, and then I'll have lots of seeds for next year.
Yeah.
So it ain't a big deal. But these peppers, that's an interesting story too, because I had this planted twice now. And I jumped the gun early. I know I shouldn't have, And I had that many peppers planted and they all died.
So
We had a frost, killed everything.
because you planted them 2 weeks before our last
I
frost.
jumped the gun. And I knew not to, but I did it.
We all have done that at some point. We get anxious.
I got excited. Oh, it was so beautiful 2 weeks before. And I said, I'm going to plant it all now.
Yeah.
And well, I won't do it again.
You won't do it for the next 5 years.
And until I forget. And these are my tomato plants. They're all starting to take off. All beautiful.
So you always use the bamboo stakes to trellis your tomatoes.
Yeah, I've always done it, but I am thinking about a different system next year. I'm thinking of putting in the T-bar
Yeah.
with another bar with those pipes that go across. I'm going to hang string
Oh, yes.
because it looks very neat and tidy.
Yeah.
I can run it to the T-bar over there and run it across and tie a string and leave it down
Yeah.
and wrap the tomato plant around it.
Yeah. I'm doing something like that.
Right. And the only problem with these are when the tomato plant gets really heavy, they fall over.
Yeah.
And now I got a mess. I don't like a mess.
Me too.
I don't like to be messy. Now this is sour cherry. Same thing. I actually planted this, and I wasn't going to plant. This was the end of my garden, and I added that on, and joined the trees in with it.
Yeah.
I joined them in. So there you go.
What do you do with all the sour cherries you
I
get?
eat them. I love them. I'm going to show you where I put string to stop the birds from eating it, because the birds get everything.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you. I didn't know if it was going to work, but I tried it. This is an apple tree, and I've done another grafting.
Oh, I see it.
But it did not take. But there is one that did take. If you look up here,
Oh,
right
look at.
there. They don't all take.
So there you have. You've done the graft, and all the leaves and new growth are growing on it.
Exactly.
That's why
And
trying.
This is from a Macintosh apple.
Yeah, that's why trying
So
is
it's
better
gonna-
than
it's
not
gonna
trying.
It's going to be different to see it.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I actually don't like these apples. That's why if I'm eventually going to graft more of the apple I like to that tree instead of tearing the tree out.
Right, because it's so
Yeah,
mature.
I actually don't like the apple. It doesn't taste good.
Is it because you like a hard,
I like a hard sour apple.
and I like a
This is more of a
soft
sweet
sweet
apple.
one. See, that's what I like.
I mean, they're nice apples. Don't get me wrong. They're
Yeah.
beautiful apples. But I'm going to do the same here.
For the size of tree, I can't believe how many apples you have on it.
Yeah. But I'm eventually going to do the same thing here. I'm going to graft more and more to this tree. I've got 3-4 grafts that didn't take on this tree. It didn't seem to like them. But it could have been me because it's hard to graft on beside yourself. You're trying to hold it and tape it and wrap it.
Yeah.
And I went over to my son-in-law's and I helped him graft his. And I think most of his took.
Because there was two of
Two
you.
of us, one holding and one wrapping.
Right.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So there's more comfrey. I kind of built a wall. I've already cut it all down once.
Yeah.
And it kind of just builds a nice little wall here.
It does. I like that.
And why I got the stone, it's easy to trim.
Yeah.
It's just easy for me.
That's what Derek says, the same thing.
Yes. So this is another sour cherry.
Okay.
And these cherries are absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, let me have one.
Take one. I absolutely love them.
Oh my gosh, Dad. They're so sour.
I love them. And I'll show you what I've done.
Oh. Oh, I don't like them at all.
No, eh? I'm going to
Whew.
a couple more.
But if you had a sour and a sweet, you could do a lot of baking by mixing the two of them together.
Oh, yeah.
Whew, that was sour.
I'm going to string.
Yep, I can see that.
Try to keep the birds out.
Is it
See the string,
working?
Well, there's still cherries on it.
You can also
Still cherries.
yeah, so if they get smart next year and they figure out your strategy.
Well, what I'm going to do next year, because it's just an experiment this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to run a bigger pole.
Awesome.
And a bigger pole here, and I'm going to do 4 and
Yes.
put the string up higher.
And maybe do one on this side going the opposite way.
Because when the birds come in, it vibrates and they're afraid to come in.
Right.
So I'll run string this way, that way, and crossways,
Yeah.
And it might protect my cherries.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let them have the rest, like the other sour ones, and protect this one.
That one over there.
Mm-hmm.
But I want some for me too.
Yeah.
I really like them.
So now, what do you think of these beans that are growing here? Because I know Mom always says she likes the skinny bush beans, but I can see them.
Look at these.
They're skinny.
That's the ones Mom likes too.
Yes.
Take a look at these.
Yeah, they're nice and thin.
They're so good, man. Honest to God, they're so good. I love them. But Mom would like these because she likes the skinny ones.
Yes.
We went to my son-in-law's. He had these big beans. They're about that big, about that fat. We did not touch them.
Because he left them too long.
I don't know what was wrong with them, but I didn't like them. But these are so good. They're sweet like honey.
Yeah. You'll have to pick those tonight for dinner. Oh my gosh, Dad.
That's where I hang it to dry.
I wasn't anticipating that this is where you had it.
Yeah. That's where I hang it to dry.
That's an awesome place.
Yeah, because it's dry.
Yeah.
And it's still got a little bit of heat.
Yep.
But the water can't get at it.
Yeah.
So it'll dry nice. And once it dries, you can take the dirt, like when it's dirty, and just brush it off. Brush it off. It's I only had it here yesterday, so it's still a little bit moist. But you clean it all up.
Yeah.
And then you just cut here and cut that off. And don't put them in the fridge.
Right.
If you put them in the fridge, then they're going to want to grow again.
Yeah.
So you keep them in a nice kind of a cold cellar.
Yeah.
In a basket. It's got a lot of holes, a lot of air.
Yeah.
And it will keep for 6-7 months. No problem.
Well, I'll tell
Even
you,
longer.
you should come to my basement. So last year I pulled all mine out and I had so much left over from the year before that I haven't done anything with it.
Yep.
And it's like I've stored it well and it has now stored for almost a year.
Oh, wow. Let's see what I mean?
Yeah.
As long as you don't put it in the fridge, I'm going to show you another graft
Okay.
that I done. And this one took off so good, it's unbelievable. It's right here. See the tape? This is it right here.
And it is growing. Oh my gosh, it's so tall.
It's taken off.
It's easily 2 feet tall, that graft.
Oh yeah, I would eventually cut this off, and this will replace this one.
Right.
This will be gone.
That's really cool.
Yeah. These are the tools I'm going to use to prune certain trees. And the one I'm starting with is partially dead from here up. So I'm going to cut all this out. I'm going to cut the bottom out here because that's below, and that can change the whole plant. I'm going to leave these because that'll spark out and make the plant better. And we're going to make this our central leader right here. So I'm spraying this with a alcohol because it won't stop any kind of germs from plant to plant. And one has disease, it won't spread it. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to cut in here. Like that. This is totally dead. I'm going to come across here and cut this one too.
And this is the one that we moved from our current property.
And that's probably why some of it died.
And if you remember, you helped me move it.
Yeah.
It was moved twice at that property.
But it will survive because this is very nice, and this will become a central leader. I know it's off, it'll have a weird, but it'll stay alive. It will be alive. And I have small prunings, which I will spray them too, where I don't spread any kind of disease to any of these trees. Each time I cut a tree, I will spray them again.
As well as spreading it to your trees at home.
Exactly. And because why I'm cutting this one off, it's below the thing. And this will actually take over the whole tree. And it will be a different tree because this is on a wood stock.
Right.
So this is a semi-dwarf. This will be a full tree, and
Okay.
you don't know what you're going to get because it's below the line. You see,
Right.
so you always cut that off. And I'm going to leave these because I cut so much off here that will branch out. Hopefully, we'll get something to branch out here, and then you got a tree back again. And we're not going to cut no more off this.
It actually looks better than it did last year, and it has an apple. Did you see
Right,
that?
yes, the apple's right here. So it shows that it is surviving,
Yeah.
which is a really good thing, which I'm really surprised.
Me too. We weren't sure it was going to survive, but we thought,
Yeah,
why not
because
move it
it's very,
anyways?
Very damaged.
Yeah.
Very damaged. What I'm doing here is I'm going to cut anything damaged, crossing, and anything that's
What do you mean crossing?
crossing. I mean, if a branch comes in here, like this one here is on the inside, and if this bears fruit, because it's such a V here,
Yeah.
this will snap off. There's no sense keeping this.
Okay.
This is no good. And this one here is on the inside. We'll take that off too. It just opens up to the sun.
Right. Okay.
So this one here will be no good. We'll cut that off. This one here we're taking off only because it's where it is. We don't want it there. I'm going to leave this one here. I should take this one off too because it's inside straight up.
Yep.
Take that one off. And this one's straight up. We're going to take this one off too. And this one. Take that one. And we're going to take this one off.
It's growing good though, eh?
It is growing.
It really likes this
What
location.
I'm going to do here, because it's so floppy, right?
Yep.
I'm going to cut a piece of this off.
Yep.
Just to strengthen the vine itself. So it won't be so floppy. And I want to do it to an outside one. So I'm going to take it right here. And that will strengthen the vine itself. Well, you won't have to support it. And I don't like the way this is here.
I know.
It's so weak. So we're going to cut that off to an outside vine too. And that'll be okay. That'll be good. We don't want to take too much. What I'm doing now is I'm going to change this branch to go the way I want it to grow. But I'm not going to tie it tight to the branch because I don't want to coddle it. I don't want to kill it. So it's very loose here,
Yep.
right? It's not going to strangle the branch. And I'm going to move the brick over here. We kind of want that branch to go this way.
It actually looks like a completely different tree.
There we go. That's perfect. Now we'll cut that off. And that branch will grow that way.
Yeah.
It'd be nice. Even this one. I could pull this down a tiny bit to open that up a little bit too. There we go.
It's perfect.
The thing I say here, if we have a stake, we can get a bigger one and put a stake here, this side, just to keep that straight, and that will grow that way.
Okay.
Instead of it growing that way.
Right.
I don't know if you have one or not.
I have T-posts.
T-post is perfect.
Okay.
You got lots of strawberries, eh?
Oh, there's another big red one there. On this side.
Oh, right here?
Give that one to Dad. No, no, no. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, this one.
Give that one to Dad. We already had one.
Oh, yours is a little bad.
Oh.
Bad spot on it, but it's okay. It's still
Just,
around it.
yeah, just eat around it, Dad.
One side of it. Yeah, I have to eat it all anyway.
He's trimming it with his trimmers.
Well, these are nice to very much in competition with the central leader. Right? You don't want them to compete with the central leader.